Hey everybody, it's Mama M. This is video number 7, part 1. Gonna have to split this week's video into 2 pieces because there were so many questions this week that I cannot possibly answer it all in one video or I will totally lose your attention. Sheila was asking about how to heal oneself physically, and my theory on that is mind over matter. If you can convince yourself that you are getting better, or that your life is changing for the better, or that money is coming because you have bills to pay and you're a little short this month. Anything that you put your mind to and concentrate on, you can make yourself believe, and in that case, you can change your health or your life or your finances for the better. It's like spell work for the non-witchy. All you have to do is take into consideration, like when you were a child and you didn't want to go to school, so you told your mom that you were sick, and you told her, you know, you had this list of symptoms. My stomach hurts and my head hurts and I have a temperature and I feel like I'm going to throw up, and all of it was not true, but you really wanted to stay home, so you had to make it convincing. And the next thing you know, you kind of feel crappy and all you want to do is lay in bed all day. If you do that in reverse, you can make your situation better. So, like when I start to get flu-like symptoms, I start to tell myself and everyone around me, which has kind of become a joke, I'm only going to be sick for 24 hours. That's it. That's all I can allow. Everything has to be done, and I have to be the one to do it, like dishes and laundry and taking care of the kids and making sure that Tim gets off to work on time and taking care of my regular job and my website and my readings and my videos, so I can't be sick for more than 24 hours. Whatever I have is only going to last 24 hours, and I always get over an illness really quickly, whereas my darling husband is one of the people who lays on the couch and whines, I don't feel good, and I need soup, and somebody take care of me, and I think I'm going to call in sick today. And because of that, he winds up sick for 3 or 4 days longer than I did because I don't have time to be sick, so I'm just not going to be sick. Kat wants to know how I feel emotionally and physically after I do a reading for somebody. And this is kind of going to sound bad, but this is the best way I can explain it. Right after I give a reading to somebody, I instantly second guess myself. And I've gotten a lot better at it over the years because I've never had someone come back and say, what you told me was going to happen didn't happen. They always come back and say, exactly what you said was going to happen happened, and here are all the details. And so the initial feelings are self-doubt, and the initial feeling after someone confirms what I told them is, well, duh, I knew that. So that is how it feels to do readings for people, most of the time anyway. Diane wants to know if I ever do readings on myself. When you're first learning to read the cards, you do readings on yourself all the time. They're just general readings to get a feel for how to do the layout and what the cards mean and things like that. Once you get into really doing readings, you really shouldn't read on yourself because you can influence the outcome of the cards. For example, if I wanted to read on would I get into a certain school applying for college, if I really, really wanted to go to that school, I could influence the cards to say yes, and the outcome could be no. So the influence that you have on reading for yourself can influence what the cards say. So I don't advise it. If it's something really simple and non-life-changing, go ahead. But if it's a really difficult decision that you're about to make and you want to consult the cards, ask someone else who can read. My friend Erin and I often read for each other, and we call them psychic favors. So I'll get an email from her at like 4 a.m. Can you please read on this when you have a chance? I owe you one. And then I'll go back to her and say, I need you to read on this. Can you tell me what this is going to happen? And, trading off kind of keeps us equal and keeps us from influencing our own readings by getting a non-biased opinion on it. Alexandra wants to know if I ever hold anything back from a reading. Like if I get bad news, will I not tell the person about it? I don't like to candy coat things. That's just not who I am. So if I get bad news in a reading, I'm going to tell you that something bad is about to happen. And I'll give you as much detail as possible and then suggestions on how you can change the way that you're doing things in your life in order to avoid that. Because the beauty of a tarot card reading is you can change it before it happens. If I tell you that you're headed down a dangerous road, get off that road. There are things that you can do to change your own destiny. So why hold something back? Because it could help somebody and save them from making a life-altering decision in a negative way. Melissa wants to know how to deal with psychic vampires. And that's kind of a new term, and if you don't know what it means, a psychic vampire would be somebody who just drains all of your energy by being so negative all the time. I know a few psychic vampires, and they just always have drama in their lives, and they bring everybody down with them. They try to make you miserable because they're miserable, and misery loves company. So the best thing you can do is fake it. If you can't be as positive as you want to be to counteract all of their negativity, fake it. Act like everything is so wonderful all the time, and you are just this little bubble of sunshine, and psychic vampires cannot stand to be around people who are that positive. So even if you have to just pretend like everything that they're throwing at you is pinging off of your bubble of solitude, do it, because it will get them to stop. Colette is asking if I have any advice on opening your third eye or improving your own psychic abilities. I wish that I had a better answer for this question, but this is probably not going to be the answer you expected. I have been able to talk to the dead and make things happen, I guess, from a very young age. So I'm guessing I was probably just my best advice would be to trust your instincts. So many people will say, when you see my brother or my husband or my aunt or my grandma, whoever, obvious spirits, when you see them, would you please tell them that I said this? And do they have any messages for me? And I tell people, you don't need me to tell you that they're there, they're watching out for you. Look for the signs. Anyone can see them. We just dismiss them because we're taught that some things are coincidence. And in the world of a medium, we know that coincidences do not exist. If you randomly think about someone you haven't thought of in a long time, or you suddenly smell your grandmother's perfume, or cigarette smoke because your grandpa smoked all the time, those random occurrences, those are spirit visits. They are around. They're trying to show you that they're around. A song on the radio or a picture of a car in a magazine, all of those things that are seemingly random that trigger a memory or trigger you to miss someone who is passed on, that is all signs that the spirit is around and trying to make their presence known and make you feel better having them on the other side. So don't feel like you have to rely on a medium to tell you that your loved ones are okay and to relay messages. You can talk to your loved ones on the other side and they can hear you just fine. You don't have to have this intermediary to relay messages back and forth. Okay, so the last question for part 1 is Tawny wants to know how my friends and family feel about me being a medium and a pagan. How do they respond to the path that I have chosen? And I think somewhere deep down my parents have always known I was a medium. I was one of those kids who had imaginary friends that had a whole life story and background. And, my story about them never changed. So-and-so drove this kind of car and had this kind of pet, and this guy was the brother of this girl. And they just kind of always suspected that to have that much information as a small child, there must be something else going on. So when I came out to them and said, hey, I see dead people, it wasn't too much of a surprise. I've gone on ghost tours with my family to where my dad has been ribbing me the whole time. Hey, do you feel anything over here? Hey, do you feel anything over there? Where it's kind of become this goofy thing that they don't really believe that anything is happening in this place unless I say that I felt something, which is not the case because not every medium is going to have the same response at every location. But it's fun and it's lighthearted, and my parents raised me and my siblings to choose our own path, find our own place in the world, and as long as everybody is open and communicating well, then we don't have to worry about those old kind of stereotypes about paganism and witches and witchcraft, because we talk about it and they ask questions and I give them answers, and it's become very comfortable in our life, which is really awesome. When I first told my sister that I was a pagan, she was really heavily involved in a Christian church that liked to pretend that they were non-denominational, but if you really looked into them, they were Southern Baptist. And they were busy telling her that because I was a pagan, I was going straight to hell and my soul was eternally damned, and she actually brought me this book that was like the truth about Wicca or something to that effect. And I'm not a Wiccan, actually, I'm a pagan. But it was all about how I was going to hell because I was practicing the devil's work, and it was really laughable. And it took a little while, but I did get her to the point where she understood that not only am I not worshiping the devil, I don't even believe in the devil, so there's nothing to worry about. And everything I do is based on the read that we will harm none. So I'm not putting curses on anybody. I'm not practicing witchcraft in the way that it is stereotypical for people to believe. So once we got past that, we were fine. If you were wondering how that whole raising your children to figure out their own path thing went, my sister eventually did get away from the church, but maintain her Christian beliefs. I, of course, am a pagan and practicing witch, and my brother has decided he's an atheist. So you just never know. But my parents are supportive of all of us, and it's really awesome. And together as a family, we're accepting of one another regardless of belief system. You may not like it, but it's not your life. So that's just how we do things in my family. And that's it's really lucky to have that kind of support system and parents who believe in supporting you regardless of your beliefs. If you haven't come out of the broom closet, try talking to people about it. See how they respond. You know, nowadays, in order to make sure that the Fox News story like this morning doesn't happen again, we have to educate. We have to be able to come out and say, you have the wrong view of Wicca and paganism. Allow me to tell you what I actually do. Debunk those theories and we won't have those kind of problems anymore. And I did blog about that today, so I will make sure that you get a link to that blog in writing instead of video form to check that out. So I will see you later this week for part 2. See ya!